Hey, Cal, you made this shit?
Yes, sir. What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Millionaire Mansion podcast. My name is James Hodgkin. I'm the owner of the Millionaire Mac Club. And as always, I'm so grateful y'all are joining us. Today was interesting because, I slept in a little bit and got my day going. I was really going through having a great productive day, and I don't know, just I was at night I was making myself dinner, and I was cooking, and I just started to break down. And you know me, like, for those of you guys that have tapped into my content before, I'm always talking about self-improvement, motivation, positivity. But what I'm realizing is there's none of that without the lows, And I never hop on and talk too vulnerable about my own situations. And today, because honestly, I won't lie to you, honestly, I don't have a lot of super down moments. I don't cry too much, and I'm not against crying. I love crying. It just takes a lot for me to cry, but I'll definitely process my emotions and feel what I'm feeling, right? And today, I don't know, I was having a great day, had great energy, great emotional stability, and all of a sudden, like I told you earlier, I just broke down and started crying. I was on the phone with my mom and my sisters, and I live in Oregon. For those of y'all that don't know, they live in Phoenix. So I haven't seen my family in about 2 months. And this isn't my first time like not seeing them for this long, but it's just I didn't really give myself time, and I don't really allow myself, no, I won't even say not allow myself. I just don't typically feel down or like sad. But today, when I was talking to them, I just got a sense of homesickness that I've been feeling that just became overwhelming. And I just broke down and started crying. And it really, a bunch of emotions just started flowing. And it wasn't just a sense of homesickness, it was a sense of confusion, a sense of doubt, a sense of, you know, I'll be honest, like I felt a bit like a fraud for a little bit. I was there was just so many emotions, and I just couldn't stop crying. And I was realizing I just don't know what I'm doing. I don't. I don't. And I was thinking about it. I won't speak for everybody, but from my perspective, no one does. No one really truly knows what they're doing, and if it's actually what we're supposed to be doing. Because we live in a realm of infinite possibilities because we come from a creator that's infinite, right? So I guess with that perspective, you can't really do anything wrong just because whatever happened is, and that's what's right. But with our human comprehension, we have the labels right and wrong. And honestly, I just got such a sense of confusion. Like, what am I doing here? I know that I'm here serving a purpose, progressing people, helping people find contentment, stillness, purpose. But what am I actually doing here? I was asking myself that, like, Why do I feel a sense of lack? Why do I feel a sense of disconnect? And I'm realizing now it's not bad to ask those questions. It's not bad to have those feelings, because if you think about it, like, if you never ask the question, you're never going to get the answer. You're never going to get the answer. So it starts with the question. It starts with the sense of confusion so you can become enlightened. And I was journaling, and while I was crying, and just, I really couldn't articulate my thoughts into words. I was getting words on the paper, but that's not how I was truly feeling. I was writing down what I felt like the always positive James had to be writing down. I wasn't writing down what I was actually feeling, because, sometimes you got to remind yourself, and I'm talking to myself, really. You got to remind yourself it's okay to have lows. And you're not defined by the low. You're not defined by the low. You're defined by how you handle it, right? You're defined by your spirit. You're not defined by, oh, you're a millionaire, you're an athlete, you're a nurse, whatever. You're not defined by your human title, your human role. No, you're defined by your spirit, right? And oftentimes it's easy to get caught in all of the external things in this realm, that if we don't really take a step back, even when we do take steps back and do have that conscious time for ourselves, the feelings of uncertainty are bound to come. The feelings of discontentment, whatever the opposite of stillness, spiritual movement, it's going to happen. It's going to happen no matter what. Like, no matter how much you're working on yourself. Because if you were perfect, then you wouldn't have to put in that work. You wouldn't have to be battle tested again, right? Think about it like a sports team. Even the most talented, best coached, best organizations still have to play every single game in the season to make it to the championship, right? Even if they're the favorite to win, they still have to go through the season like everybody else, right? So don't get discouraged just because you're in a close game with somebody that shouldn't necessarily be competing with you. And I only say somebody because I'm using the metaphor of the sports team, because you're not truly competing with anybody. You're not, because we're all on the same team if you really think about it. We all come from the same thing. I don't care if you're Christian, Buddhist, Catholic. We came from an infinite being. Whatever is everything, we're a part of everything. So therefore we're all the same thing, because we're a part of the biggest thing, right? So when you make progress, that means the infinite makes progress, which means I made progress. So when you win, I win. When I win, you win. When you lose, I win. When you lose, I lose, right? It's okay to feel disconnected, because without feeling disconnected, You won't know what it feels like to be connected. It's okay to cry. It's okay to not always be happy, because life is a game of rhythms. There's going to be ups, downs, side to side. There's going to be things you can't even imagine, right? But all you can do is gain comprehension, gain the lesson from whatever you're going through. And understand and find contentment and stillness with the fact that there's always gonna be more. This game we're in is endless, which is awesome, because if you think about it, if it's endless, you're gonna see similar situations that you've been in, which means it gives you an opportunity to try option A, B, C, and D, because that cycle is going to come back around. You're going to see that test again. You're going to see that question again. You're going to have the same questions again. You're going to have the same uncertainties. Right? And that's all a part of the progression. That's all a part of the progression, because if you only get one opportunity to handle a certain situation, or one opportunity to gain a lesson, and then you never get to apply it again, you never get to answer that question again, you never get to go through that situation again, then what was the point of gaining that knowledge if you can't apply it? And the universe is never going to put you in that position where you will gain a lesson, a blessing, and not be able to apply it. And you may not see the direct relation if you're not looking hard enough, but trust me, it's there. You know, it's crazy. I've been having this feeling of, I feel like I'm in a cycle that I've been in before. I'm seeing situations that I've lived through when I was 15, 16, 17, 18, 12, 10. Like, I've seen myself in these positions before, and I'm thinking to myself, why am I going through this again? Why do I have to go through this again? I already went through this. Why do I have to go through this again? But what I'm coming to realize is you have to go through it again to prove that you're different. So what? The situation hasn't changed. The person going through the situation has changed. Just because you're in the same situation doesn't mean you have to handle it the same. Think about that. Just because you're in the same situation doesn't mean you have to handle it how the old James, how the old Jenna, how the old Timmy would handle the situation. You know, like, you don't have to. I know we're creatures of habit, but those habits don't have to be infinite. Those habits can be changed. That habit can be destroyed and replaced with a new one. You may replace that old habit, and the old habit may come back. It may come back. It most likely will come back. But just because it comes back doesn't mean it has to stay. Just because you build a new habit doesn't mean that habit has to stay. Really think about that. Man, I wasn't going to record a pod tonight. I wasn't feeling it. Like, after this was my first time crying, and man, I don't even remember the last time I cried, really. But this was the first time I cried in a minute. And I was just thinking, I'm going to give myself time. I'm just going to be by myself. But I realized There's somebody else out there going through what I just went through 2 hours ago and needs to hear some words of inspiration, needs to hear that they're not the only one going through this. Right? There's somebody else that needs perspective on the tough time that you're going through so they don't have to handle it how they've been handling it, right? And that goes for you too. Just because you feel down, just because you feel discouraged, doesn't mean you have to stop. And let me put it like this. You can stop, but doesn't mean you have to stop forever. You can slow down, but you're still going to be moving. You may feel like you're missing love. You're not fully in purpose. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're not with the people you're supposed to be with, but that's where you are. That's where you are. It's okay. You don't have to be there forever. Now figure out what you're supposed to learn. Ask the questions and figure out where you're supposed to go. And realize that's going to change. Where you're supposed to go is going to change constantly. It's going to change constantly. Find contentment in change. Find contentment in not knowing what the fuck you're doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't. I'm just doing, you know? No one's gonna make it out of here alive in this body. This body isn't gonna make it out of here alive. Your spirit will. Your energy will. So preserve that. Preserve your energy. Figure out what feeds your energy, what makes you feel the best. Right? But whoever's listening to this, you know, all I can ask is just share this with somebody. Leave a comment if you need someone to talk to. Text me 480-571-7347. If you're down and need someone to talk to, text me. I don't want anybody to feel like they're alone. You know, I've had that feeling. I was having that feeling earlier today. And you're not alone. You're not alone. So whatever you're going through, you're going to get through. And it's just going to make you better. So keep grinding. Like my grandma said, keep going, keep growing. I love y'all. Peace.